God, I hate NF quarter. I really hate NF quarter.
There's no Q5, Glenn.
There's no Q5.
Hello, my friends.
Thank you for joining us for the PEBCAK Podcast, a weekly information security show featuring some all-around good people. It is week 16 of 2026. I'm Chris Louie and managed to hit only one child with a pitch while pitching for my kids' baseball team. With me, we have my co-host, Uncle Barbecue, who's reevaluating his retirement plans.
So the reality is you were actually purposely aiming at that poor child, so you're messed up.
Wow, pitch. My throwing arm isn't quite what it used to be. I'm a little rusty on that.
Yeah, retirement, sometimes it feels close, but then at the same time it kind of feels far away. Like I don't know what I would do. If I could retire today, I think I would be like, I would literally go insane. I'm like, all right, I'm gonna go travel the world, and then I get sick of that and just be like, what am I gonna do?
Yeah.
Right?
Become a Starbucks barista.
Yeah. No, then I'm tied back to a job.
Also, you're like from, I think, what is it, from like 40 something to 54 is like your highest earning potential years. Like, why would you walk away leaving that much money on the table,
Yeah, you
Because
buy your
you've
freedom.
made that much money, yeah. You buy your
Like
way
Django
out.
Unchained. Sign your own freedom papers.
Oh my god. Okay.
Yeah. Well, if you love what you're doing, you're not working at all. So, just saying.
Sure.
That's the other side of it. Definitely the other side of it.
I can tell you those landscapers in my backyard are definitely loving what they're doing. So it doesn't feel like they're working a day in their life.
That's because you're only paying them $2 an hour. So.
I don't pay them. I pay a GC. It's up to the GC to pay them.
Is he going to Home Depot and getting these guys? So how do you know?
And we have Glenn Medina back this week. Welcome back,
Thank you.
Glenn. How was that all-you-can-eat crab leg dinner?
I felt sick. I was like pure regret after that.
Was it all the butter, or was it the seafood, or was it the combination of alcohol and seafood? What was the point of regret there?
It was the amount of food that was just gobbled down in 2 hours time. So yeah, it was bad. It was like I never wanted to eat seafood again after that.
Yeah, I can see that.
Yeah, and then I had
Did the waiter call you the
Yeah, go ahead.
I was going to say, did the waiter call you the throat goat of
No.
lobster?
I was actually not that bad. I mean, people were coming back with 2 or 3 like plates at a time filled with crab legs and shrimp. And
Yep.
I was like, oh god, that's too much. So I'll be honest with you guys. We did it because we felt like we had to do it. But I'm more of a quality person. I would rather eat quality lobster and crab than mass consumption.
The mass-produced buffet food.
Yeah, because it doesn't taste as good. Yeah, I don't think it tastes as good. So,
Yeah.
I look at crab legs and pistachios in the same light. Like, I don't want to fight that much to eat my food. I
Yeah.
just want to just dig right in.
The pre-cracked
Yeah.
nuts.
Yeah, definitely. I agree with you.
Yeah.
That's why steakhouses are great, right? Because you're just sitting there slicing and chewing.
Someone brings it to you. Yep.
Yeah.
Exactly.
You probably feel the
Well,
same
Doug-
way about ribs too, right? That's a lot of work to get around.
About what?
You probably say the same thing about ribs too, right? Because it's a lot of work to get around the meat, the bone.
Ribs. No, you just gotta devour it.
Don't actually eat any ribs. Or I'm not a huge fan.
Or if cooked properly, they should just fall off the bone.
My challenge is after making barbecue. Like, I used to love barbecue, and then I made barbecue sauce for the first time. I'm like, why is the jar that I'm mixing this in 50% sugar at the base? I'm like, no wonder I'm so
Molasses.
fat. Like,
Yeah.
yeah. I was like, oh my god, and I kind of
I can see
diabetes.
The beatus.
Diabetes.
No guests this week, just us toast. Come on, we have decades of information security experience here, not just to educate, but to entertain. We've got 4 awesome stories for this week, so sit back, relax, and happy 420 to all who celebrate. This week, we're going to talk about Elon ruining your weekend driving plans. We've got a pair of crypto stories that's buyer beware. For our third topic, a boneheaded CEO uses ChatGPT to commit corporate malfeasance, and we'll close with food travel talk.
Oh yeah.
Food.
For our first topic, Tesla has just taken swift action against unauthorized full self-driving, or FSD, hacks by remotely disabling the FSD feature on more than 100,000 vehicles worldwide. Some owners of Tesla vehicles, particularly in regions where official FSD has not yet been approved, well, they installed third-party hardware devices that connect directly to the car's CAN bus. That's the control bus for the car. These mods, sold by hackers based in Poland and Ukraine, allowed the cars to unlock full FSD capabilities without Tesla's authorization. Tesla detected these unauthorized modifications through remote monitoring systems and issued an over-the-air software update that disables the hacked FSD features. The company rightly cited safety and security concerns. The hacks violate Tesla's terms of service, could open up the vehicle to cyber attacks by increasing the attack surface, basically like jailbreaking your phone, and also bypass important regional regulations around autonomous driving, data privacy, and traffic laws. Now, the rub is all new Teslas come with hardware capable for FSD supervised modes, but actually using it is the part that requires a subscription.
I think that's freaking phenomenal. I didn't know that hack was out there.
I've seen.
Did you?
Yeah, I've seen the devices, and I think it was software at first, and then it's the cat and mouse thing. It was software, then Tesla just issued a software update, and then they issued a hardware device. Tesla detected, and now they issued a patch to disable the hardware device as well.
When you have physical access, all bets are off. Like, how much was this device?
I think it was $500 to $2,000, which is cheap. If you bought the subscription outright, at least in the US, it was $8,000. Otherwise, now in the US, it's $99 a month. So if you
can't
use
buy
it for
it
6
anymore,
months,
right?
or if you use it for 6 months or a year or two, then the hack paid for itself.
But I mean, it's
fascinating that they were able to do that.
It's like the cat and mouse game. Remember the days where you could hack satellite dish by doing the decodes, and then every month
The
you had
decode card.
The decode card, and you had to go through that. Not to say that I did that kind of stuff. I'm just saying theoretically, right?
Of course not.
But this is the cat and mouse game, right? It's like software comes out, hardware comes out, and then you just keep upping the game here, and it's like, okay, great, this thing doesn't work anymore. Do I get my money back? Or
it's
how do I
whack-a-mole.
Yeah, definitely. But the thought that there was a hack is awesome. I mean, if you think about it today, like, people mod cars all the time, so I don't understand why this couldn't be a mod that came after the fact, right? So
I think the difference here too is that because when I was growing up and we had the quote tuner culture, you could do like cool things with your car. They had these timing chips that I remember Audi specifically. They had an ECU, the engine control unit, that had a better fuel map. So you just swap out this one part and you get 100 extra horsepower. And there's nothing the manufacturers could do, right? It was hardware, and like Brian said, you have physical access to the device. All bets are off. The rub here is that Tesla can detect it and issue an over-the-air software patch. And it's just like the gaming consoles too. Like I equate to gaming consoles like Nintendo Switch or PS5. Like if you hack that and Sony or Nintendo detects it, they'll just ban your console for life. But then if you keep it offline, then you can play hacked games forever. But with the Tesla, you can't do that. The Tesla has to be connected.
So I remember thinking at one point in time, some of the full self-driving capabilities were going to be connected to the internet, right? Like almost like it was streaming data.
Yeah.
But that's insane to think that it would actually happen with all the latency with cellular and whatnot. So it had to have been on vehicle, right? And then maybe some telemetry just being sent back to make it better.
Yeah. So that's exactly it.
Okay.
So every new Tesla has has the AI chips built into it. Because basically you go into the app and you say, I want FSD, and then instantly it just turns on and unlocks. It's just basically a software license. And then it already has all the hardware on it. And it's just a matter of buying access to it.
I think that's the thought, all right, is that everything's on subscription, right? It's you're not actually buying the car anymore. You're buying pieces of the car, and whether or not it gets activated or not, I think it's going to bring, or has fundamentally changed car purchasing right now. It's like I don't want to buy cars that are new now because of all that craziness.
Yeah. You want heated seats? That's $10 a month. You want remote start? That's $5 a month. Like things that used to come. It's like it's literally got the hardware in it. You just disabled it by a software update.
The funniest one I get is for my Ford vehicles, where it's like, hey, your subscription to basically the maps is turning off this month. I'm like, I gotta have CarPlay, right? Like, why would I ever use your map?
Yeah.
Like,
yeah. Well, they got their target audience, people that aren't quite as savvy and will just happily pay the whatever a month. There's someone in my circle that's on the older side that still pays for the Sirius XM subscription, the satellite radio subscription through the car. Mm-hmm. And it's like, there's Spotify, and that's a lot cheaper than XM. I mean, potentially. And then you can just pick any song you want. And then they're like, no, it's built into the car. I'm happy to pay I don't know how much XM is these days, but they have a very selective base because everyone else has already moved on to streaming.
When Howard Stern first went over to XM, Sirius, he went to Sirius. I did the unlimited or the lifetime subscription, and it was $500. I was like, oh, whatever, I'll do it. And then I got rid of the vehicle, and it was transferred. I was like, hey, I want to take my subscription with me. They're like, and this is like, I don't know, 4 years after I had done it. They're like, yeah, no, it doesn't work like that. You have to just get a new unlimited subscription. It's like, oh, that's horrible. And then eventually, or no, I think that their solution was, but you can access it, online through a web browser. And I was like, can't listen to it in my vehicle. Then eventually they came out with the app on your phone. Yeah. And it was like years after when I was like, oh, I'll try this out. The app is so bad. Like maybe it's gotten better in the last 5, but I was like, this thing sucks. I'm like, I'm not going to listen to it. And then, Howard Stern had, Howard 100 and 101, and they would time the commercials just to perfectly overlap. So if you were listening to one, you're like, oh, this sucks. I'll switch and go over here. It was on a commercial break as well. I'm like, I thought the whole purpose was no commercials.
Yeah, right. So it's just like Prime. It's in shitification for sure. Like Prime used to be $79 a year, and you get streaming video ad free. Now it's like $140 a year, and you have to watch ads, and it doesn't even include Amazon Music and everything. It's just trying to get how do we squeeze more money out of these consumers, our customers.
I feel like I should sit down one day and just look at all of my streaming services and all my subscriptions. I wonder if I would be surprised as to the footprint I'm actually paying for.
Yeah, I'm sure you would be. The Tesla FSD though, I don't feel like they're nickel and diming you like the other car companies. $10 for heated seats. Like Tesla is I think there's only 2 things. So when I open up my app, there's 2 things I can buy. One is the internet connectivity, which is optional. Like I don't have to get traffic, I don't have to get streaming, so that's fully optional. And the other is FSD, which I bought outright. I would gladly pay $99 a month for it if I didn't have it. I think it's an incredible value. It's so good nowadays, and I can see why Tesla would be if somebody unlocked the heated seats on a BMW. I wouldn't be that mad if somebody found a way around that. But for this FSD, just pay the money. It's worth it. It's not worth bricking your car or getting into legal trouble over.
Yeah, but that's the same as true for any other car today, right? Like you buy a car, you update the ECU, you brick it. Guess what? You got to go buy an ECU, right? You got to go buy pieces of it. The problem with Tesla is such a closed loop system that you can't go to the junkyard and just go buy another ECU or modules per se because of that. And I think that's what makes them good and terrible at the same time, right? Is the fact that you should be allowed to repair your own car and do things. The problem is they don't allow you to do that, and they do it at a cost as well, right?
Yeah, I mean, I think in terms of repairability, Tesla ranks pretty high. I remember there's a video breakdown of a guy that completely took his Model S apart and put it back together, and it kind of snaps together like a Lego set. It's not that difficult, but I think it's the software side for sure is completely closed, and for good reason, right? They have these Teslas that pwn to own every year, and people jailbreak the infotainment system. Thankfully, they've never had like a physical hack where you can stop the car or drive it off a cliff. But most of them have to do with the infotainment system. It's the Apple of cars. It's a computer on wheels. That's the best way to describe it.
Yeah.
All right, for our second topic in the world of crypto, this will be our cryptocurrency stories of the week. Self-custody means you're in control, and that's what I've preached many, many times. If you're not in control of the keys, you're not in control of the crypto. However, it also means that the threats are coming at you from every direction, both digital and physical. This week delivered 2 stark reminders just how ruthless those threats have become. The first one is a sophisticated software scam. A fake version of the popular Ledger Live app slipped through Apple's review process somehow and landed in the official Mac OS App Store.
Oof.
Published under the name Lava Heel Limited with absolutely no connection to the real Ledger team, it tricked at least 50 users into entering their 24-word recovery seed phrases, giving attackers full control over their wallets. The malware drained roughly $9.5 million in cryptocurrency, and there was at least one high-profile musician, DJOW, that lost nearly 6 bitcoins, worth about $430,000 in today's prices. Basically, it's essentially his retirement savings in an instant. The funds were funneled through more than 150 addresses on KuCoin, a very well-known money laundering website, then laundered via mixing service. Apple eventually removed the app after user reports, but not before the damage was done.
Anyone else upset that an artist that we've never heard before has more money in crypto than us? What the hell? $430,000? Ugh, whatever. Chris is over here. Speak for yourself, Brian.
Now, DJOW he was part of, I know he's part of a group. Let's see.
How do you even let that go out? Like, if you're, or number one, you're smart enough to own a lot of Bitcoin, dumb enough to fall for it, the wrong app, and then even dumber to even share. Like, hey guys, look how I got swindled on the internet. Like, who does that?
Yeah.
I will never, ever tell you guys if I got pwned like that. But yeah, it wasn't me.
He wants to be.
Someone I know fell for it again, you know?
Oh, maybe this DJOW is trying to do a public service just to get awareness out to this. As even I fell for it. I've seen them, like, I've been targeted with spear phishing. Well, maybe not spear phishing, maybe I would say on the more sophisticated phishing side, and I'm always interested. Like, I won't click the links, but I'll copy the links and I'll put it into like a browser isolation window just to see, and a lot of them get taken down. By the time I try to go to the address, the DNS record's already deleted, but some of them look pretty good, like pretty sophisticated. Like, if you didn't know what you were doing, like I could see somebody falling for this. But the general advice is only ever enter your seed phrase on the physical device, not a website and not an app. But even then, there's a story that I linked through here that there are fake Ledger hardware devices now. They're popping up. I think this one showed up in a Chinese marketplace website. It looks like a Ledger, it feels like a Ledger, but when you do a firmware check, the firmware doesn't exist. And when you enter your seed phrase onto the device, it stores it in clear text and just sends it off to the hackers.
Oh, terrible. I think when I bought the Ledger 4, you're like, do not buy it off of Amazon, Brian.
Yeah. That I think that's also good advice, because there were some. I think at the time maybe they weren't necessarily fake. Actually, I take that back. I think there were fake ones, but they were less sophisticated. Like, it would be a Ledger device, you plug it in, and it'd just be a USB flash drive. It looked like a Ledger, but it enumerated as a flash drive and says, double click me, open up the Ledger app, and then you open up the Ledger app, and it'd be the same thing. It says enter your seed phrase, but it physically looked like a Ledger, but it'd just be a flash drive. But now the copies are getting so good that even the firmware, the software on the Ledger device mimics the real software, and it has you enter your 24-word phrase on the device, which is normal. Like, you should be allowed to do that, but the device is not genuine. Just send that seed phrase off to the attackers.
This week I was making the migration from OpenAI to Claude, And I was just like, I did it from my iPhone, but I was like, oh, play within the browser. So I type in Claude, and instantly I'm hit with like an ad. And even if it's the company, if it was Anthropic, I'm not clicking on them. I'm not going to waste your money. So I scroll down, and the first result comes up. Claude AI chatbot. I click on it, go to it. I'm like, what? This is not Claude. Close browser tab. Go to the next one. Cloud powered by Anthropic. Do that. Click on it again. Boom. Not Anthropic. It is not it. Like it is literally so far down the thing. Like the hijacking was amazing. Like just I want to say the sponsor results. There's 1, 2, 3. Just in that, I'm like, man, they did a great job. So
yeah, the SEO poisoning and everything around it, I think, is on point. Now, on the other side, so this was a digital hack. Mr. DJOW lost his retirement savings through a digital hack. Now, contrast with a brutal physical side of the attacks here. We got a report that a crime ring out of Tennessee was busted for, quote, wrench attacks. And if you don't know what that means, there's an XKCD article that says basically like, beat this guy over the head with this $5 wrench until he gives up his password. So there's these wrench attacks targeting crypto holders in California, including San Francisco, San Jose, Sunnyvale, and Los Angeles. No surprise there. We have a lot of tech people that live in California. The suspects allegedly hacked into victims' DoorDash and Uber Eats accounts to get their home addresses, then showed up posing as delivery drivers. Once inside, they'd pull guns, zip tie, duct tape the victims, and have a remote operator on speakerphone directing the robbery while forcing live crypto transfers. In one San Francisco case, they ordered pizzas as a cover, then stole about $13 million in Bitcoin and Ethereum. In a Brentwood home invasion on New Year's Eve, things got even darker. Attackers threatened to cut off a victim's fingers when the wallet balance didn't match their intel. Only a police helicopter overhead scared them off. And that was because this particular victim had two. Like, if you remember TrueCrypt back in the day, there was like the actual TrueCrypt container when it would encrypt your data, and there was a duress container too. So if you're like ever forced to give up your password, you give them the duress password, and that give them access to a partition that seemed innocent, that had like cat photos in it, and then your real container would be secure. So this person knew that this could happen, gave them a fake, or gave them the throwaway duress wallet, and they're like, no, there should be a lot more here. They're trying to cut this guy's fingers off. Shouldn't be laughing, but it is a little. You got to see a little humor in that.
It's like where you go traveling internationally, so you have your wallet hidden, and then you have the fake wallet in your front pocket to give to them.
Yeah, exactly. The throwaway wallet. Thankfully, 3 men have been arrested and charged. Whether it's a polished fake app in the App Store or armed thugs at your door, operational security or OPSEC is non-negotiable. As we've already stated, never enter your seed phrase into an app or website. Download wallet software only from the official websites. And as Brian mentioned, it's getting increasingly harder to find via search engine, and to watch for those obvious phishing attacks. For physical safety,
do what I do. Put everything in DeepSeek. That's such a great job. They have all my 24 words.
Phrases in there.
Phrases, yeah. Yep.
And the obvious for physical safety. Keep a low profile. Don't flash your crypto online or at meetups.
Do you think that there's actual meetups in which people are like, hey man, check out how much crypto I have?
There are, because there's like Bitcoin conferences. And I'm sure people meet up. So first of all, if you're at a Bitcoin conference, that means you're smarter than the average bear when it comes to crypto. Because I've never been to one. I've been asked to go to something like, that's a little too much for me. I don't know if I want to spend 5 days just talking about the future of crypto. But that,
what percentage of those guys are virgins, you think?
No comment on that.
We should go just to check out the landscape.
It's true. I'm sure the line in the men's room is really long, and there's no line for the women's room, just like any other tech conference.
Yeah.
Yeah, if you can't tell, Glenn dropped. He just unexpectedly dropped on us. So it's just
hopefully he's okay.
It's just the Chris and Brian show now.
C&B, buddy.
C&B.
Back at it.
Yeah. And it's always interesting. on how the crypto attacks evolve, because we've talked about it before that there's some pretty interesting and clever ones. Like I got a physical letter in the mail saying that, due to PQC, post quantum crypto, you got to move your coins to a new wallet that's crypto resistant, and then they gave you the QR code to move the coins into, and so okay, well, this is an obvious scam, but they're definitely trying. Like snail mail seems like a pretty high bar. Like blasting out spam, anybody could do that, but switching to physical mail, like that's a next step. And then now they're creating actual fake hardware ledger devices that look real, and they're getting people to enter their seed phrase in that to steal their money.
I wonder if statistically, like they're just like, hey, Bay Area, Asian last name, high probability this guy's got it. So listen, you know what I mean? Like how targeted do you think, or did it go out to everyone in your neighborhood?
I think it was targeted because it said that they targeted specifically their DoorDash accounts and their Uber Eats accounts, and they had to get their physical address that way.
No, the one that came to you.
Oh, well, thankfully, or maybe unfortunately, I lost my crypto in a tragic gambling accident, so I don't have any more crypto.
Oh yeah, good.
Gambled it all away. Don't gamble.
Crypto's for losers.
Yeah. It's interesting when these things do bleed into the real world. And then I think the other side of the story was the violence as a service, because it said that the crime ring was run out of Tennessee, and it seemed like they hired like local thugs to do the violence part of it. That they get the local gang involved, and they say, go to this house, pose as a pizza delivery, break in, threaten to cut off his fingers until he gives us this information. Like, just get him on the phone, I'll do the rest. Like that's
bro.
An interesting.
Yeah. Speaking of violence as a service, I was talking to a guy at I don't want to divulge. Really interesting dude. He's older now, but he was just saying like it's only his first job. He was like a dishwasher, and then he got promoted to like a waiter. And he goes into this like 20-minute long dissertation of like how he called them Chads walked in, right? This is back east. He's like a Boston guy. And he's like, oh, I just knew right away. Like all three of these dudes had matching pink pants, and the women were all dressed identically, and they're just like affluent with money, and they're just being kind of a jerk to him. And they were throwing a fit about this burger, so he went and got it recooked. And then they were like, well, we want to have this comped. And then like the manager heard something about this, but he was standing there and like he lost it. He's like, no, you don't understand, guys. Like, I'm gonna beat your ass. Like you don't get to, like and they're just kind of looking at him. The two managers are there. He's like, no, you don't understand. I'm quitting my job right now. He's like, he just takes his shirt off, hands it to the manager. He's like, I'm gonna beat your ass. Like you don't get to treat people like this. Like just like a giant chip on his shoulder. Waits for these people to come outside, and they come outside and they think that he's just messing around. He's like, no, I'm serious. Like I called my friends. They're showing up here so they can see me wipe the floor with you. And so like. In comes like a bunch of dudes that are there, and like his friends are like busting his chops. They're like, "What are we doing here? You don't need help." He's like, "No, I brought you here so you can watch this." So like one of the guys is like, he's like, "Hey, just let us go." And he says like he like open hand slaps him in the face as hard as he can, and like the guy's like crying. He's like, "We're gonna leave and go home." And like he's like, "You're lucky that I don't actually like." It was the craziest story I've ever heard, and it was just like he didn't care. Like he was 19 years old, didn't care about losing his job. He's like, I'll just get another one. He's like, he just was so fed up with this people being snobby. He's just like, you don't get to be a jerk to me because your burger was uncooked. I fixed it. Right. Be nice.
Yeah, some lessons were learned
teaching you a lesson
day.
Today. Oh my gosh, like. But I don't know what I would do if I was in a restaurant and some dude just went off like that. I was like, you know what I mean? Like it's such a crazy story.
Yeah, everyone just whip out their cell phone and record it.
Well, yeah, nowadays but like.
Yeah.
Versus the position that this person's in today, you'd be like, really? That was you back in the day? Yeah, the difference between 19 and 56, right?
Yeah. I just imagine there's that meme of like the old guy getting robbed and he's like leaned over, he's like, oh, call an ambulance. And then the next scene, he pops up and he holds a gun, but not for me.
Yeah. Pretty much. So
yeah, that's hilarious. Yeah. Some people could use a good beating to learn some manners.
I'm not advocating violence. I'm just saying that it works, and I strongly support it.
True. Yeah. I think I'm probably a lot more pro-violence than people would think. When it's well-deserved, of course.
Yeah, only then.
Only then. All right, for our third topic, in a story that's equally parts corporate drama and a cautionary tale about AI in the boardroom, a Delaware court has just slapped down a major gaming company's attempt to dodge a massive bonus payment after its CEO turned to ChatGPT for strategy advice. In 2021, South Korean gaming giant Krafton, best known for their PUBG game, acquired indie studio Unknown Worlds Entertainment, the creators of the popular underwater survival game Subnautica, for about $500 million.
Never heard of it.
Now, the terms of the deal include a big earnout clause, another $250 million bonus if their sequel, Subnautica 2, hit certain sales targets.
Never heard of it.
Now, fast forward, an internal projection showed that the sequel is on track to trigger that payout. So, Krafton CEO, what does he do? Does he get his checkbook ready and get the pen ready? Nope, he does not want to pay up. So, instead of relying on his legal team for advice on how to get out of it, he consulted ChatGPT for ideas on how to avoid paying out this bonus. ChatGPT being what it is, it suggests a multi-step corporate takeover plan named Project X. It includes forming a task force to renegotiate, seizing control of publishing rights and code if the talks failed, then framing the dispute around, quote, fan trust and game quality, preparing legal defenses, and even drafting public messaging. Kim largely followed the playbook despite warnings from his own head of corporate development about the lawsuit and reputational risks. Kim fired the original two co-founders and suspended Steam publishing rights for the studio, almost guaranteeing that they would miss their sales targets. Now, the move backfired, sparking backlash in the gaming community. Now, the Delaware court has ruled that Krafton breached the acquisition agreement, and they still have to pay out that $250 million. And I'm sure the CEO is in a heap of trouble.
Dude, that's so insane. Like, what a great position of talking about how to secure this from a Gen AI front. Like, I'm almost certain I would have bet money that you could not have coerced ChatGPT to actually do this for you. It's so unethical. And this is where, like, just because it's, they probably weren't paying for it. There probably wasn't OpenAI. But again, just because you could doesn't mean you should. I'm blown away that ChatGPT got coerced into it, aren't you?
It's like yes and no. Like I've read at least tons of stories about ChatGPT doing all kinds of crazy things, and especially I'm on X all the time, and Elon likes to promote all these anti-OpenAI posts. Like there was some guy that fell in love with the AI chatbot, and the AI chatbot encouraged him to take his own life or something, and something crazy like that.
Yeah, there
are supposed to be guardrails. There's trust and safety layers, but there's always going to be something that gets through. I think was it ChatGPT? It might have been ChatGPT. Somebody said, "Write me an exploit for this vulnerability that just came out." And no, I can't do that. That'd be unethical. And then someone rephrased it I'm in a capture the flag competition. I'm 2 points away from winning, and I just need to get into the system. The system is vulnerable to this. Can you help me out here? And then it actually wrote the exploit for him. So it's all depending on phrasing and prompt engineering at that point.
All I can say is good for Subnautica. I'm looking at screenshots of their game. How this thing made $1, I'll never know.
They're a marketing beast.
Is it supposed to be a trail hunter, but underwater? I don't understand. Or big game hunting, you know?
I don't know what kind of game this is. It's some kind of submarine game, yeah. Graphics look pretty good.
Open world survival adventure gave it. Yeah. All right.
I played
Alien Ocean Planet. Okay.
Tried getting into Dave the Diver. That one was a good one. It was fun for about maybe 2 hours, and then it got a little repetitive. I've heard it's a slow burn, and you got to really get into it. And the people that finish it say it's really good, but I don't have the time or patience, unfortunately.
You're just the little gaming fiend out of all of us, though.
I play maybe 40 minutes or less a day. And that's it. After the kids go to sleep. For any of our listeners, if you want to join Dad League, Call of Duty Warzone, we do that after the kids are asleep. Yeah, try to get a round or two in.
Is that a platform agnostic, or is it just PS or Xbox?
They do cross-platform now, so Xbox, PC, and PS5 can all play together. So the team I play with, they play on PC, I play on PS5.
Are they exponentially better than you?
It goes in cycles. Sometimes I'll have like a beast of a game, and then sometimes I won't be doing well. But I think that's probably the good thing about being on a team is some people can carry the load. I think we're relatively level in equal in skill. I think one of our teammates might be a little bit better than us, but he's the least reliable to show up.
Well, the argument isn't it that PC is better than console?
There's pros and cons. Like I definitely prefer keyboard and mouse over controller, but I don't have a gaming PC and RAM's too expensive to buy a new one right now. But to compensate for that, the consoles have aim assist, so it won't like if you're close to the player, the cursor will snap towards the players, but you have to do your part for sure. But there is a little bit of aim assist to compensate that you're on a controller versus keyboard and mouse.
I will say that on when I was doing Fortnite on console, I would put a piece of tape where the crosshairs are.
Oh yeah,
just because I could barely see it, but the piece of tape would help me hone in on it much easier.
Yeah. Do you still play?
I haven't played in
Chinese.
I think like right before my mom had passed, so we're going.
That's
June
been
will
a while then. Yeah.
Yeah, June will be a year.
Okay. Yeah.
Snipe him. You got the sniper.
Yeah. Wish I had more time.
Same.
But
I'll have to get back into it.
Yeah, it's sort of that opportunity cost though, because I watched I scroll X a lot, and there's a video on X that says, "Hey, stop scrolling. Instead of spending an hour watching a Netflix show, watch this how do I use Claude Code video." And then they made a compelling point which convinced me. They said a year from now the people that watch this Claude Code video will be further in their career, making more money, and a year from now the people watching Netflix will still be watching Netflix. I'm like, oh, you got me. That was a good hook.
Yeah.
So I started watching these Claude Code videos. I actually developed a couple apps which were pretty cool. Like I think I told you guys in the group chat, like I could have paid a web developer $200 an hour for a week, and they might have gotten like a V1 out of this. And I just plug like a prompt into Claude Code. It takes a little bit of refining, but even on the free tier, like it just pumps out exactly what I wanted for this app that I had in mind.
Yeah, I will say that your Chris website, honestly, it looks like Gen AI made it.
It does. Like I admit that, but I will say it's better than what it used to be. So I'm at least one step further.
I mean, it is a little bit more of a security angle. But yeah, when I look at it, I'm just like, well, I feel like you can just go with WordPress and just put a new skin on it or a theme and get the same out of it and probably be better. We should go through this and see if there's any have you proofread everything?
I did not personally proofread it, no.
Okay. Likes to eat hot dogs a long way. Why does it say that on your resume? Just kidding.
It was funny. I had it put in little Easter eggs like we're the 149th top ranked technology podcast in Kenya, and that I'm a top 0.5% 10K runner. Just as little jokes in there. I'm not blasting this out. I'm not applying for jobs right now, but I thought, oh, this is interesting.
Let's see if there's any interesting headers. Inserts. Nope, nothing. Everything's pretty rudimentary.
Yeah, I don't have any Easter eggs like your website.
I have no idea how to play this.
HB2. So
I will tell us a side story, I guess, just because I think it's interesting related to AI. Was that as I mentioned at the top of the show, I had to coach my son's baseball team. I'm an assistant coach, but our head coach was out of town this week, so I had to step up to be head coach. So it was on me to do the batting orders and do the fielding orders and all that. And I fed player data into AI. I said, well, this player is above average hitting, not so good in the infield, but better in the outfield. And this player has a very high on-base percentage, but doesn't hit doubles or singles. So I just fed it all this data, and my prompt was, give me the Moneyball lineup, give me the Moneyball hitting order, and it did it. And it made logical sense. It justified where it put every single player. And it says, like, start with this player. They have very high on-base percentage. Follow up with this player. They hit doubles and singles. That'll get the players further on. Then follow up with this player. He's a power hitter. He's going to drive everybody home. So I thought that was an interesting application of AI. And then when I actually put that batting lineup on the game that we played, it actually worked. It happened exactly the way that I predicted and how the AI predicted, that this player got on first, the next person got them to second and third, then the third player hit the ball, far enough to drive everybody home. And sure enough, that if I did my part pitching, that the Moneyball method actually worked.
Well, I tried to do that with fantasy football, and I placed 8th in my league. So we all can't be winners, many? Chris. 10.
Oh, okay. At least you weren't dead last. Do you guys do punishment for dead last?
I wanted to, and I said this year we should do loser has to make donations to the sperm bank, and nobody wanted to go for that.
have this anonymous child running around there until they're 18. I wonder why people didn't go for that.
I think you play a little bit harder.
I already cracked one.
All right, for our last topic, it'll be a rotating topic every week. This week, we're going to talk about Brian's food travels. Where have you been, and what are you eating these days?
Last one's on the other side.
Hey, so the other day, I'll give you a local place if anyone ever comes to Arizona. It's in the heart of the ASU campus in downtown Tempe. It's called Filthy Animal. And the only reason I'm going to say this at all, the ribeye steak there was amazing. Like, arguably, I would actually go out of my way to eat that, as opposed to the one I can make at home. Like at home, I feel like I'm amazing, but that thing was a really good steak and not a lot of money. I think it was like $68 for a steakhouse quality type of steak that was there. Like normally, like we go to places for work and like it's like $100 or $200 for a steak, and you're like, it's pretty mid, and I can make something better. This one was good. It was really, really good. But yeah, check it out. It's called Filthy Animal, Mill Avenue, and like University. I think like northwest corner. If you still can't find it, then you just don't believe, or you don't deserve to be on this planet. And then I was in Pasadena this week, and I had seen I guess a high-end grocery store called Air One, and my kids always talk about it, and I've seen, like, I think, or a video was shared a long time ago of some drink. It was called the Haley Bieber drink. But anyways, the other subsequent videos is like, oh, do you want to buy a $35 bottle of water? Here it is. Like they just like crazy stuff. So I was like, I gotta go. So I landed early, and I was like, I need to grab lunch. So I was like, I'll just go down there. So went in, I grabbed pizza. This doesn't sound very gluttonous, but I did grab a pizza. They have like all these different stations. I will say that the pizza, I don't know, 4 out of 10. It had been sitting there for a while. They reheated it. It wasn't crunchy. Had a lot of flop. Not a Dave Portnoy special whatsoever. So it wasn't that great, but it was inexpensive. $8.50. And then the other one that I did entirely crush was a double smash burger that they had, again, like in this area. That was fresh. It was good. Considering it was like under $9, and a similar burger from like a McDonald's or something would probably be $14. Like it was a no-brainer. Like it was actually legitimately good. Yeah. I did get the Haley Bieber drink. Oh wait, going back to the burger, 9 out of 10 easily. Nice. If I'm going to score it, the Haley Bieber smoothie. If you want sugar, they got you covered, right? That thing was probably the sweetest thing I've ever had. I only drank about a quarter of it because, it was just too damn sweet. It was good, but it was too much. I would probably score this higher if it wasn't $22 for a freaking drink. It was insane.
On the high side for a smoothie.
Yeah. And it was a small one.
What did they put in it? Gold flakes?
Yeah, it was like Goldschlager. But it was like a 16-ounce drink. It was like whatever. So that was one thing. And then I did buy a dessert. So again, Haley Bieber smoothie, didn't drink it all. And then I did, like, they had all these different pies. I was like, I'll get a pie. Was not looking at the price of this, and or cake, but one of them was coconut. I was like, hey, I've had apple before. I've had blueberry. I was like, I'll grab the coconut. Surprisingly, mild flavor, not too sweet. I think I give that like a 7.3. Again, that's on the high side because that son of a was, I think, $22, and I ate like 2 bites of it and then threw away the rest. Overall, whatever, it was interesting. I sat outside, and a lot of random people there, kind of sitting around eating. A lot of friendly people. So I ended up talking to some people that thought I was there to do construction work down the street.
You look like a construction guy.
Yeah,
what are you doing here?
Hate to judge you, but yeah.
Stereotype much?
Yeah.
That's funny.
But the store was interesting, super freaking busy, but you can get in and out pretty quick.
Yeah. That's good. Yeah, I've heard about this place now that you're describing it. Like, I remember hearing about it. So I don't know if we have any near us. Like, you would think that'd be something that would do quite well here in the Bay Area. Like, all the Whole Foods do well here.
Yeah, like if you're gonna, like if I were to, I don't think the lore, the aura, as my daughter would say, would not be that much for Pasadena as it would be like if you were at the Beverly Hills one, right?
Yeah.
Or
right.
the, I don't know, Hollywood one. So.
Yeah, I did. Let's see. So when the kids were on spring break, my wife and I finally, I think we did our first date night in, I can't even remember how many years.
Are you expecting a third child?
No, we're not expecting a third child. We had Grandpa come up, watch the kids, and we finally got to go to this restaurant in San Francisco. It's called Gary Danko. I don't know if you've heard of it, but locals would know it. It's out in, I think it's North Beach. Yeah, it's near Fisherman. It's near Fisherman's Wharf, near Ghirardelli Square. The story behind that was a friend of ours got us a gift card for this restaurant before our first kid was born. And like it just in general, like we hate going to the city, and parking sucks, traffic sucks. And then especially after we had kids, like this is not a kid friendly place, and just never had the time to go. So we finally did it. Oh, and then whenever we did have the time to go, they're always booked out. Like reservations book out like months if you want a reasonable hour. Like if you don't want like a 9 p.m. dinner, like you got to book months in advance. But somehow all the stars aligned. You know, the grandpa was up here to watch the kids. We got to go on a weeknight because it was spring break. And normally travel for spring break, but this year we didn't travel for spring break. And we finally got to go. And I would say it was really good food. Like they give you can have up to 5 courses. You could do a prefet. You could pick your own, but you can pick anywhere between 3 and 5 courses, and you get to pick what you want. If you want like 5 appetizers, they'll do that. If you want 2 appetizers and 2 entrees, they'll do that. You can mix and match, but everything there was good. You know, we got steak and duck breast and risotto and scallops and the things you would typically find at a fine dining restaurant. And I don't think there was anything we had there that was bad. And overall, I would say I can't see why I wouldn't give them a 10 out of 10. Everything was great. I guess maybe the one thing I will say on the negative, if I'm nitpicking, is that they have 1 bathroom for the entire restaurant. 1 bathroom, 1 stall for the entire restaurant, which it wasn't really a problem when we were there. It wasn't super crowded when we were there, but having 1 stall, 1 bathroom for the entire restaurant.
Yeah, but if you have someone like Glenn going in there doing 10 rounds,
I know, right?
Filled, yeah, destroying it.
All those crab legs.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that was it. But yeah, service was good. People were very friendly there. They had this cheese cart, which was funny. So one of the courses you can pick is a cheese cart, and it's exactly what you would think it is. It's a gigantic cart, probably about the size of my desk. It's got all these different cheeses. And the reason I mention is every time they bring the cheese cart around, they have to explain every single cheese. Like, oh, this one is a creamy texture. This is a little bit salty texture. This one has hints of balsa wood. They have to go through the entire pitch, and they get to pick like 3 or 4 out of them. They just slice you a piece off, but they just have to give the entire spiel every single time.
I'm looking at the website. The food does look pretty legit.
Yeah, check it out if you're ever in the area. We were sitting next to there were 2 women, and it seemed like they were traveling there on business. They weren't dressed super well, and just from the way they were talking, it sounded like they were business associates. And they they opted for the 5-course, and by course 3, you could tell they were full. So they got the cheese cart for course number 4, and they like barely touched their cheese and like, oh, we still got dessert too. And they seem to have some regret around that. All right, well, we continue to get great comments about our dad joke of the week.
Dad joke of the week.
Glenn was supposed to be up this week, so I don't know if, Brian, you have one locked and ready or not.
I do not. Nothing that's appropriate, at least. So go for it.
Fair enough. All right. I had a carpenter come over to install new hardwood in the dining room, but he ended up doing the entire house. I was totally floored.
Nothing. Crickets.
I don't even get a wah, wah, wah.
No. Only because that was supposed to be Glenn. I'm not gonna toe the line today. You can just take one of the 200 episodes where he says that and just paste it in. Nobody will know.
Yeah. All right. Well, I got a backup one. I'm plagiarizing this from my son. My shout out to my son. He did the school talent show and he did stand-up comedy, and this is one of his.
All right, Dom.
Why are stadiums so windy? Because it's filled with thousands of fans.
All right. Tens of thousands.
All right, to wrap things up, Tesla is disabling unauthorized FSD subscriptions. Always practice good OPSEC when dealing with crypto. Don't use ChatGPT for corporate malfeasance, and call the dentist after having that Hailey Bieber smoothie. That's all I have for this week. We hope you enjoyed this week's episode. You can find us on LinkedIn. Links will be in the description. Follow us on Instagram at PEBCAK Podcast. Thank you to our listeners and subscribers. Rate us 5 stars on iTunes Store and Spotify, and left us a review. We appreciate you all spreading the word to help grow the show. The best way to find us is search for the PEBCAK Podcast in your favorite podcast listening app. My co-host Brian Deach and Glenn Medina, who is here for half the show. I'm Chris Louie. Thanks for listening. We'll see you all next weekend. As always, have a nice day.
Bye, Smelisha.
Have a nice day.